Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to make a body for an RC car. Actually I'm just kidding. Actually I'm going to use and dissect that RC car. So you guys might have seen that on my Facebook site where I kind of talk about using that for the new Gantry system. So basically this is my kid's little RC car, and it's mine, but this one, the steering doesn't work, so it will become part of the Gantry setup. So anyway, so yeah, in the last video I was covering like the lasers and stuff that I used on the Gantry system that went around the whole car, and you know, it was real intricate and all that. Very good, useful setup, but now I don't really need that setup anymore, and I just really need a center line that's going to go down the center of the car, and I just need something that's real simple and that will track, you know, down the whole center of the car. So anyway, so I came up with something that's going to mount to the ceiling and basically be like my garage door opener, and in a sense, and it's going to be a rail that will be suspended on the ceiling. I'm going to use these little gadgets, pieces of steel, just like what's used on the garage door opener deal, and kind of what holds up the tracks for the garage door. So so this setup will be suspended. It's actually going to be like that, but and these will be bolted using lag bolts between the studs and the ceiling. So I may have to take this back and get a thicker one. Just depends, because this rail piece that I'm using is very heavy. So I think it's like 200 pounds, maybe heavier. I'm not really sure, but it's pretty heavy. So you may recognize this from the other Gantry setup. It's actually one of the sides, and it turned out to be a perfect piece to use. I had a lot of people, you know, send me drawings and ideas for the setup and different ways to do it, and I came up with a few different ways myself and went and tried to order the steel and do all kinds of stuff, and I just kind of thought that I had these outside, and I never really considered it because I thought they wouldn't be very straight, but it turns out that it's extremely straight. And I basically took this little DeWalt leveler deal, and it has built-in lasers, built-in lasers in it, as you can see. So it has like rare earth magnets on it, so it mounts to anything. But basically it's got a laser on basically the X, Y, and Z coordinates of it. And what I did is I took the laser and I stuck it on the edge, kind of like that, where it split the laser in half. So half of the laser was on the edge of the steel, and I aligned it so that basically the other half of the laser would project all the way down here. So what happened is it actually projected perfectly. The other bit of laser was the other half was right at the edge of this end, and I did both the sides and the top to make sure that it wasn't twisted or anything, and it turned out great. So this was the perfect thing to use, and I didn't have to buy a bunch of steel and try to make something overly complicated. So basically the idea with this piece of metal is that this will get suspended on the ceiling. Let me turn this off. Using the little brackets that I showed you, and then I'll have a rail cart that goes up and down this rail, and on the cart we'll have my little measuring devices, lasers, and things like that, and it'll just slide up and down it, and I'll have these little Teflon feet that will be glued onto the piece of metal. This is like a test piece to make sure it's going to hold up. So so this will, I'll have a few of these feet on each side, and it'll, instead of using wheels, it'll just slide on these. I figured it was easier to do that, and I didn't have to fabricate wheels and get all crazy, because really it's not going to be like real heavy. Should be pretty easy to move, and it's only going to have like 1 or 2 lasers hanging off of it, you know, and they're real tiny, so shouldn't be too bad. But I'll apply like some lithium grease to the rail, and I'll make it slide real easy. And then most importantly, I'm actually going to finish the surface of this whole rail piece. So I'm going to sand it down, and I'll fill in any low spots or nicks or whatever that may be in it. Because I know there's stuff like, you know, like right here I have like resin that dripped on it when it was at the other shop. So I'm gonna have to sand all that down, and then I'll just use some body filler to fill it in, and then I'll paint the whole thing nice with some high temp, good tough paint, and then I'll use the lithium grease on top of that after it sets up. So so yeah, so that's kind of the idea on how this is going to work. Like I said, I'm going to disassemble this whole little car thing and try to use as much of it as I can. I think I should be able to use the whole thing, just take the body off and mount it somehow to the top of this, and it will just, the wheels will just roll on part of the rail somewhere, not really sure yet. And then I'll just use this little controller to run it up and down the whole rail. So should be pretty simple, not overly complicated, and I won't have to pull on it or connect any, you know, strings or lines or pulleys like I did on the last system. On the last system I had these pulleys that had cables and stuff like that. So so yeah, so that's kind of an overview of this setup. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. Missing my sawhorses that I was going to put these on, so I'm using a box and a chair. So that goes to show you that it's pretty simple setup to do this. Also, the audio quality in this video is going to have a nice humming sound, as you probably have already noticed, and that's because I have my AC on, and it's like 1,000 degrees outside. Actually, I think it's 104 degrees, and this thing is keeping it at about 80, but I think my AC is about to die on me. It's really loud. It's not usually that loud. So I apologize for the audio quality. I also have this fan on too to kind of circulate the air a little. But yeah, so that's kind of just in this video. It's just an overview of what I'm going to do to this thing. Like I said, I'm going to finish the surface of the rail, make it nice and smooth. I'm going to build and assemble the rail cart and figure that out. And as you have probably already noticed, I have no idea how I'm going to make that work or what I'm doing exactly. I've kind of cut some pieces because I have a general idea of what it's going to be, but I'm just winging this really. And the whole RC car deal, I don't know. I don't even know if it's going to work, but I will see. So I know I can get the little cart to work, and if I have to, I'll just move it by hand or piece of string or whatever, because like I said, I don't want it to be too complicated. And it's really just to get the center line down the car, so I have something to work off of. But it would be nice to have a little RC car so it moves by itself, and plus I just like to tinker with stuff and all that. But yeah, so you know, for you guys out there that don't know what you're getting into, you don't have to know. You just have to just start doing it and seeing if you can figure it out on the fly, because that's pretty much how this whole project has gone. So yeah, so there you go. And in the next video, I'll do it pretty much right after this. I'm going to start assembling all this right now, but I'll put the cart together and the RC thing, and I'll test it out. I'm just going to tack it together, little tack welds, and just to test it out, because I'm not going to finish this or bore anyone with the all the sanding and more sanding that I'm gonna have to do to this rail to make it smooth. So anyway, so I'll see you in the next video, and I'll just keep you updated on how this little cart goes. All right, see ya, bye.